Hello everyone and welcome back to another vShell preview update. Today's preview update brings vShell version up to 0.7 alpha. Today's preview update has a lot of new under the hood changes and polish, so let's get right into it. The first thing under the hood is vShell now has a Flask Backend. Now this opens the door for a lot of possibilities, but the process to port vShell to Flask was a bit of a tedious one, because I had to rename all of the links instead of using relative paths into using URL4, which was a bit of a pain. But eventually I got it working. And as you can see, the folder structure has changed so that it complies with Flask. You have got all of your HTML files in this templates folder, and all of your static files like CSS and JavaScript files in the static folder. So yeah. Now, one of the few polishing effects that we have is that in the power menu over here, when you click on it, you have this blur effect. Now the background is also blurred. In the earlier versions, the background was not blurred, it's only the applications that were getting blurred. So yeah, now the background and the applications are getting blurred. One of the new things in this update is ShellUtils. And ShellUtils is a set of vShell functions that help us do various tasks easily. Like for example, over here we have this screens concept, which is a new concept in vShell that I'm going to do a video on later this week. And basically screens are a way that allows us to easily manage our applications and make them more clean and easier to manage. Okay, we also have splash screens. Now splash screens are just a splash screen that displays on your application. They just give your applications a chance to load all of their contents, and then when all of the content is loaded, the splash screen goes away. And this is achieved using ShellUtils. So if you go into the settings application, you can see that at the top we have a div with a class of splash screen and an ID of splash screen. And this is our splash screen basically. And if we just go ahead into vShell and we open up the settings application, you can see that this little green screen, was our splash screen. But because it's offline, it was a bit faster. It depends on your application. So if your application is too large, the splash screen is gonna stay there for a while. However, if your application is small, it just take a second or so, or even less than that, to load. So yeah. Also, vShell's virtual keyboard now has an animation, as you can see. And thanks to the Flask port, vShell now can get your CPU model name in the about option. So if you go into the about option, you can see that now you can know your CPU model name, and it gives you your CPU model name. This is thanks to the Flask port, as I said. Go over into our Flask server, you can see that it runs a series of a command, and then it grabs the model name. So yeah. The next new change is in the calculator app. In the earlier versions of vShell, when you used to display the results, the calculator app used to display the results vertically. Now it displays them horizontally. So if you just do this, 22 times 2 equals 44, you can see that it displays it horizontally, which is a much more welcome change. So yeah, this was today's preview update. It seems to be a small update, but this stuff really took me a lot of time. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And before I forget, vShell source code is available on GitHub. And see you later.